listening audience, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Whirl. I am your DM for the day. Or, well, technically I am your DM for the day. You'll see why in a moment. But this is yet another impromptu FPS. I am joined this
Huzzah!
evening by the lovely, wonderful, talented, amazing, bestest friends I have, or at least two of them.
Hello. We are
Introduce
two of the
yourselves.
bestest friends. Hello! My name is Artist of Obsessions, also known as Avi, and today I am playing Tally Mark once again.
I love you so much, Whirl. Hi, I'm
And
I
Mira.
also love you so much, Whirl.
I
Hi.
love you guys.
Hi, I'm Mira. I will be playing Sammy Jax once again. This takes place right after Double Rainbow.
It
Yeah,
does indeed.
literally. It's been like maybe 45 minutes.
Well, you know what they say, one good turn deserves another. Um, but yeah, that's what we're doing today. So, it has been in game time, not in real time. In real time, it's been about 45 minutes. In game time, it has been maybe an hour or two, maybe a few more than two. It's been a little while. And, Sammy,
Mm-hmm.
you are waking up, hugging your precious little sister Tally like a stuffed animal, and you are in the garden, and it is very late and very dark.
Mm-hmm. Sammy he gently kind of unwraps his arms from Tally and kind of just drops a kiss on Tally's forehead before setting up fully and then tucking Tally in with the rest of the blankets because he's getting up, and he kind of just rubs at his eyes because he wasn't expecting to have slept that long. But oh boy, that felt nice. That was a needed nap. That was really nice. And he kind of just is rubbing at his eyes. His mask is around his neck, and his hood is down, and his hair is got some twigs in it because they were, even though he was on a pillow, that he was sleeping by a tree. He was sleeping by a tree. There's gonna be that gag of there are twigs in his hair. And he just kind of sleepily wanders over to the statue and is just like, I don't know how much you saw of our conversation earlier because it was light out, but morning Prismatone. It's not morning, it's still night out, but I'm awake now, but yeah. Hi, Prismatone. I need to talk to you eventually. Stuff happened. You probably know about it, but it's just stuff happened. hmm Stuff.
Stuff does tend to happen a lot, huh, kiddo?
Yeah, stuff happens, and he just kind of automatically leans against Prismatone, and he's just like, you're here. Yay. This is good.
Yeah. After a couple times of talking to Prismatone, you get used to her just kind of popping up behind you.
And he's just like, I'm still half asleep. This is Mom. Yes, this is good. Flop.
Yeah, and she wraps you up in her arms and flops down on the bench of the fountain. And she's got you sat in her lap, and she's just kind of looking you over, and she's like, "Oh, poor baby bird. What did they do to you?"
They hurt me, Prismatone. They hurt me a lot. And he kind of just holds up his wrist to show her the new spots on his wrists.
And she looks at them, and she gently rubs her thumb over his wrist and sighs and sort of bumps her forehead against his. I'm so sorry, little one. I wish I could have done more to protect you.
They used the magic on me again. A lot.
Mira, I can't hear you, honey. You're
Damn
really
it.
quiet.
They hurt. They used the magic on me again. A lot.
Is that what happened to your eyes, sweetie?
Mm. It did something. I don't know what. It changed.
And she kind of gently, like, sets a hand on Sammy's cheek and sort of, like, nudges one of his eyes a little more open with her thumb and finger. Hmm. That's. It's scarring, sweetheart. Sometimes magic leaves scars.
Mm. Why did they have to do
Do you
that?
want me to try and do something about it?
Yeah, it it doesn't hurt, but it something's wrong with them. They glow. They're not supposed to glow, Prismatone. They're not.
I know, sweetie, I know. Let me see what I can do, okay?
Okay,
And
I trust you.
I know, sweetie. And she like gives him another kiss on the forehead in her way that she does without having a mouth. And then she like says, "All right, close your eyes. See what we can do."
Sammy does close his eyes.
And she traces out the shape of his eyes with her fingertips. And there's sort of a pulling feeling. Like, okay, am I the only one who ever did this as a kid where, like, you close your eyes and then through your eyelid you pinch your eyeball and you can kind of feel something pop?
Ah, no, I did not do that. I had a tendency of like pressing my eyelid, like pressing against my eyelids so I would see spots, but not the pinching.
Okay, well, I wouldn't suggest doing it because it can hurt if you do it too much.
Yeah, yeah. Also, with the pressing of your fingers against your eyeballs. Eyeballs are delicate. Please take care of them.
Yeah, but the feeling, Sammy, is somewhat similar, and that pop feeling comes with a bit of, like, you can see a bit of a glow through your eyelids.
Mm, that. Huh? Can I open my eyes now?
And you hear Prismatone sigh, and she sounds a little upset. And you can't see this because your eyes are closed, but she is glaring at the little ball of glowing golden magic in her hand.
Mm-hmm. Sammy's just like, can I open up my eyes now?
Yes, of course, sweetheart. Of course you can.
He peeks one eye, and then the other. Blink, 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 blink. Why? It's supposed. Why does it look pretty? It shouldn't look pretty.
Shouldn't. But unfortunately, she sighs and she glares at the magic again. This kind of magic is insidious. It tries to make you think that it's friendly. It tries to make you think that it's harmless, that it's not going to do anything to you, that it's just here to help you make a friend, that everything is fine, so it looks pretty. It's
I don't.
gilding overwrought. And she glares at it, and the magic cracks. And this glowing ball of magic splits down the middle, and what's inside drips out into her hands, and it is the colors of all the emotions that glowing golden, happy to see you charm magic was suppressing. It's red and it's purple and it's blue and it's black, and it drips down her hand and into the fountain, and she
Sammy's
is glaring at it.
Sammy's shading is a strange green as he stares at the magic, and he's just like, ugh.
Yes, I quite agree. Let's get rid of it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
And she tips her head back, and her eyes vanish for a minute as they close, and her mouth opens. And I don't remember if Sammy's ever seen Prismatone with her mouth open,
I
but
don't think he has yet.
yeah, she has a very wide, jagged smile type mouth, a bit similar to the engineer, actually, um, with like what's inside glowing white. And she tips this magic and the stuff inside of it into her mouth and snaps her mouth shut and swallows. And it is gone.
Sammy's just kind of blink, 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 staring up at Prismatone because that's not what he was expecting. His shading is sky blue now. He's just like, huh, okay, that's one way to get rid of it. Where does it go? Prismatone, where does it go? And he just kind of pokes her in the stomach, just like, wait, you ate it. But is that bad? Is that gonna give you digestion issues? Are you okay? Just poke, concern. That was nasty magic. He's just like, poke, poke. Concerned. I am concerned.
And Prismatone giggles because Prismatone is, as a matter of fact, a little bit ticklish. And she just kind of hugs you. It's like, it's all right. Don't worry.
Okay, but you would tell me if it hurt you, right?
Of course, sweetie. Of course. Of course I would tell you. But and she closes her eyes and opens up her mouth again and says, "You see this?" And she points to how inside her mouth is pure blank whiteness.
Sammy just kind of straightens up and like he kind of just peeks into her mouth. It's like blink, blink, blink. Uh-huh.
You remember what I told you about the place where I got locked up?
Mm-hmm. He nods. He's frowning a little because no one locks up his mom on his watch.
She chuckles and ruffles his hair. Like, she started to play with his hair and take out a few of the twigs and leaves.
Oh boy. 1 sec. I need to roll a thing. He starts looking extremely sleepy again.
She chuckles.
Hair nice. Hair being played with is nice.
And she chuckles and says, "Well, when I got out of that place, I became ruler of it because I killed the previous ruler. And what happened with that was that I kind of ended up swallowing a little bit of it. And now, by putting stuff in my mouth, I can make it stop existing."
Oh, that's a really big power to have. It's big. Very big. Yes.
Yes, but she grins teasingly and nuzzles his head a little bit and is like, "Luckily, I don't eat people anymore."
Anymore? Did you eat bad people?
Don't worry about it, sweetie.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Pat. He's patting your shoulder.
Now, is there something you wanted to talk to me about?
Huh? But I'm scared you're gonna say no.
Well, I don't know, sweetheart. Are you going to ask me to hide the body since you've killed someone?
Why would I? Why would I kill someone? I wanted to kill him. I wanted to kill the person that hurt Tally and and to stop Sinclair. But I does that make me bad?
Oh, sweetie, no, no, never. And she, again, like, hugs you very close. You are fully on her lap right now. You are being held like a little baby. And
Good.
she is just snuggling you, and she's like, no, no, sweetie, never, never. People will tell you that wanting to kill makes you bad, but the fact is, there are some people who make this world a worse place by being in it. There are some people who hurt others and don't care. And the people you were talking about, they're like that. And it doesn't make you a bad person to want them gone. It doesn't make you a bad person to be willing to make them gone.
But I went I went black. I I hated them so much, Prismatone. I hated them so much. I wanted them gone.
I know, sweetie. And those feelings, they're not the fun ones. I told you when I helped you get rid of the block, remember? That sometimes feeling everything, it isn't easy. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it makes you feel like a bad person. But sometimes the bad feeling... Excuse me. Wow. Okay, let's try that again. Sometimes the bad feelings, they're needed. They're justifiable. They're important. It's important to feel that kind of bad. It's important to feel that kind of anger. Hatred, like any other emotion, is an important thing to know how to feel, to know how to deal with. When somebody hurts you, when somebody hurts the people you love, and they show no remorse, and they have every intention of doing it again, it's okay to hate them. It's okay to want them gone so they can't hurt you or the people you love or anyone else ever again.
I'm I'm scared though. What if it what if I feel it towards others that don't deserve it? What if I
Well,
hurt them?
then you apologize. You admit that you were wrong once you know that you were wrong. You make amends. That's all we can ever do, Sammy. That's what you told Tally, remember?
Yeah,
We
but
we make amends. That's what we do.
okay, but
Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes our anger, our hatred, it gets directed towards the wrong people. They get caught in the crossfire and they get hurt badly. But if you feel bad about it, if you realize that you were wrong, that you didn't know the whole of a situation, or that your anger was out of line or unjustified or out of place, then you apologize. You try and heal them. You try and make it better. You can't change the past, Sammy, but you can make a better future. You can make a better present. And that's what you need to focus on.
Sammy just kind of tucks his head underneath Prismatone's chin and nods, just curling up in her lap. And then he just kind of quietly says, I wanted to ask you another thing.
Oh?
Is it okay if I call you Mom?
Sammy, roll perception real fast.
Oh boy, here we go. Dice Parser, please. 15.
So, it is the middle of the pecking night.
Mm-hmm.
but you can hear birdsong, and there's a glow from somewhere above your head that is very golden and bright. And Prismatone hugs you really tight and is like, "Of course, sweetie, of course.
I was
I would be honored."
I was scared you were gonna say no.
You're at your mic again.
Damn it. I was scared you were gonna say no.
Would I ever say no, sweetie?
I don't know. I was scared. I didn't know if you'd want me.
Oh, baby bird, of course I'd want you. Of course I'd want you, you sweet, silly little thing.
Even even if even if I'm not entirely okay?
Of course, sweetie. We don't love the people in our lives any less just because they're having a bad spell. It's okay to not be okay. And I love you, and I'm going to be here for you even if you're not okay. Because if you want to call me Mom, that's what moms do. We look out for our little ones and help put them back together when they fall apart.
Sammy just instantly just all of the tension that had been in him just goes, and he just nods into your shoulder again, and Prismatone, he's crying. Very quietly.
She kind of chuckles, and she won't admit it, but there are tears in her eyes too, and she kind of just she rubs his back and holds him and rocks him a little bit and is like, there, it's okay. You've been doing a lot of crying today, huh?"
Mm. I don't think Tally's cried in a while.
No, no, she hasn't. She really needed it. You did good
Mm-hmm.
today.
She she was like me.
I know, sweetie. And you did so good, and I'm so proud of you.
Did I help her?
Of course you did. You
That's
helped her a
good.
lot more than you know.
That's good. I wasn't sure. I just want her to be okay.
I know, honey, I know. She's going to be okay. And you're going to be okay. I can't. The future's not my domain, but I know that everything is going to be okay.
He
Because
nods.
you. She kind of like leans back a little bit and boops Sammy's nose.
He goes cross-eyed.
You are a good person. And good people get happy endings.
Sammy is still cross-eyed. He's just like, me? Yes.
Yes.
And he just blink, blink, blink. But what if I don't feel like a good person?
Well, sometimes we don't feel like good people. And she sighs and she kind of laughs a little bit and says, "I certainly didn't feel like good people when I came out of the silence, and all of my followers thought I had abandoned them, and therefore they left me. I certainly didn't feel like good people. I felt like an idiot. I felt like a neglectful deity. I felt like a failure because I had failed them. I hadn't been there for them when they needed me. But what makes me good people, what makes me better than everything I thought when I was at my worst, is that I tried to make it better. I tried to make the world better. That's what good people do, is they see the wrong in the world and they try and fix it. They try and look out for the people they care about, for people as a whole. They try and see the best in others, and Sammy, you do all of that.
Sammy is hugging her very tightly, and he says into her chest, if you went away, I wouldn't stop believing in you, Mom. I wouldn't.
You can roll insight if you like.
Okay. Oh, nat 20.
That's a nat 20. Good job. So you say this, and Prismatone doesn't really have a heartbeat because she's not a physical entity in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But you can feel kind of the steady pulse of magic that goes through her that you can always feel surrounding you whenever you hug her. You can feel that sort of stutter for a second, and there is a very real feeling of, oh, and a very real feeling of surprise and relief and hope, and she kind of just wraps you up in a big hug and puts her chin on top of your head. Says, "Thank you, Sammy."
Sammy just clings because he's just like, it wasn't your fault. They locked you up.
Well, I made a bad bet, but it wasn't my fault that he decided to trick me.
Mm-hmm. He's just hugging you very tightly because he is determined. If everybody else forgets her, he will remember her and believe in her no matter what people say.
Sammy!
And no matter what is thrown at him, he will not stop believing. And that's
Sammy!
tied right down into his heart.
Sammy! I'm crying.
He loves her, okay? He loves his mom, and he wants her to be okay. And if she has at least one follower, she has to be okay, right?
Oh, baby. And she is hugging Sammy so close. And she's like, oh, I wish I'd been there when you were little. I would have just taken you away from that place so you never had to deal with it and took you to euphony and... Oh well. Can't change the past.
Sammy just kind of nods. He's a little conflicted about that sentiment because on one hand he understands why she's saying that, but at the same time those were his parents. Who would we have been if he didn't have them?
Yep. And you get the feeling that, because I'm still going off of that nat 20 insight,
Mm-hmm.
you get the feeling that, like, she's kind of being a bit hyperbolic here. Like, technically, yeah, if she had the power to go back in time, she would have done that. But also, she's like, she understands that, unfortunately, the nastiness you've been through is part of what makes you yourself, and she loves you, and she wants you to be you with all the bad experiences and all the good.
Mm-hmm. And Sammy just melts into her and just he's hugging her. He hasn't stopped. He's just goop on her now. Sammy goop.
Sammy is a puddle.
Yep. A puddle of love.
And she kind of smiles, and again she nuzzles the top of his head because she's very physically affectionate with her followers.
He nuzzles her right back. He's affectionate too. Pecker, see if he doesn't.
And she kind of smiles and says, "So, are you going to introduce me to my new little one?"
Oh, Tally, she's still asleep. I gotta wake her up. Tally. And he scrambles off of Prismatone's lap and starts tapping Tally. Prismatone's here. Do you want to meet Prismatone, Tally?
And like Tally Tally kind of rolls up in her blanket a little bit. Like, 5 more minutes, please.
Sammy starts poking Tally in the side. Tally! Tally, 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 Tally! Tally!
Okay, I'm up. And Tally very sleepily sits up. and is rubbing at her eyes.
Come on, come on, come on, come on! You gotta meet her! You gotta meet her! You gotta meet my mom! Come on! And he grabs her by the hand and starts leading her.
Tally, roll perception. As sleepy as you are, roll perception.
15! 15 for perception.
Yeah, so as Sammy is leading you back over to the fountain where y'all had your little cry fest earlier, there's somebody sitting there, and it's the lady who was sort of the statue in the fountain. She's a lot bigger than the fucking statue. Typically, like, presents herself as being around 8'9".
Oh, that's tall.
Yeah.
Tally very sleepily is like kind of blinking and rubbing at her eyes, and like it takes like a solid minute for her to process it, and then as soon as she like notices, she's like, oh, tall, and she kind of hides behind Sammy's legs.
It's okay, Tally. She's not gonna hurt you. It's okay. She's a little nervous.
It's alright.
So big!
She's taller than me. And that doesn't really happen that much.
I thought you were the super tall, but whoa!
Well, you know, he gets it from his mother's side of the family.
Sammy does a little happy wiggle.
Aww.
And Prismatone just kind of chuckles. And Tally, she's very pretty. Like, she's very tall, and she's made up of mostly, like, inky black fabric, and not really skin so much as just pure outlines with, like, glowing airbrushed swirls of rainbow-colored hair that are mostly skewing towards shades of gold and yellow right now, and glowing very brightly, because she's very happy to see you both. And she's wearing, like, a white crown, and her dress is really interesting because it's patterned with all sorts of colorful patterns that you've never seen before. And she kind of smiles and waves at you and says, "Hello, Tally. Nice to meet you."
Tally, like, had been staring at Prismatone for a while, because that's what Tally does when she meets people for the first time. She usually just kind of quietly stares at them.
The child is a cat.
Cat.
Tibby.
Kitty child. She kind of blinks when she realizes she's being addressed, and she goes, "Oh, hello." And she gives Prismatone a little wave.
This is Prismatone. She let me call her mom.
Oh, that's good. And like Tally, like holds up a hand for a high five for Sammy.
Sammy high fives her.
And Prismatone is very carefully hiding her smile or her laughter behind her hands.
Oh. Like Tally's just still kind of like hanging out behind Sammy because Sammy is very safe and
valid.
She's like she Prismatone looks nice, but she does not know for sure. So she's just gonna very quietly stick behind there.
I'm going to roll my insight. I know it's ridiculously high, and I know I'm going to succeed, but I'm going to roll my insight to see if Prismatone can figure out how to make this small child notice that she's nice. Or know for sure that she's nice. 26! For those of you in the audience who don't know, Prismatone is the goddess of characterization, and insight is her highest stat, because her insight is a fucking plus 32.
plus 32. Holy crap! You can hide nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You could hide nothing from Rainbow Momther. But that is the
Wow.
consequences of her being a goddess, and also why she will never be a proper player character. Because she is a level 20 bard, level 20 paladin, and her
Ah,
stats are fucking insane.
that explains a lot.
And we love her.
Wow.
We love her so much.
So, Abby, what do I get with a 46 on how can Prismatone make Tally more comfortable?
Huh. Hmm. Well, honestly, it's like a matter of like time kind of things when it comes to Tally. Because like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes she hits it off with people and gets to know them real fast and can like vibe with them a lot faster. But there are certain people who like sometimes she gets like I'm trying to word it correctly. Sometimes she gets real sus of people, which is understandable considering the kind of lifestyle she's had. But
Yeah,
it's kind of like a stray cat. You just gotta give her a little time.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so Sammy doesn't really notice Tally's hesitation and just kind of walks right up to Prismatone and crawls up into her lap and puddles there. This is Mom. He is happy.
Uh,
Well,
and
seeing Sammy so comfortable around her would probably very quickly help Tally to be like, oh, okay, safe person, and she'll be a lot less Heidi.
and Prismatone kind of chuckles and she snuggles Sammy and says, I can be a little smaller if I want to be.
You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And like Tally is climbing up the side of the fountain and sitting next to them.
Sammy's just kind. I just kind of picture that Sammy's kind of flopped in her arms and has his chin resting on one of in her elbow or something, and he just like is just like, you can do that. Can you get big? Can you get really, 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 really big? Like huge, big. Like you could hold me in your palm. Could you do that?
Oh, definitely.
Really big.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
I haven't done that in a while though. But what I can do is, and she like gently nudges Sammy off of her lap a little bit, and she
Mm-hmm.
stands up, and her form shifts, and um, instead of looking at a goddess, now you are looking at this tune.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, oh,
Tally is pointing.
oh.
And she's only a little taller than Tally.
Oh my gosh! She's so
Oh.
small!
Sammy is having a very, very hard time not having the urge. Like he's fighting the urge to pick her up and cuddle her very, very hard right now. He's just like, this is Mom. This is Mom. But so tiny. They're so tiny. They're so tiny. I want to hold.
Make a wisdom save, please. 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 For the funny.
That's a 10.
Sammy has gone sparkly eyes.
I don't think I don't think that's enough of a fail for him to like actually do it, but he's just staring with cuddle size.
And Prismatone, she chuckles and she does like a little pirouette in her point shoes and a curtsy. And she laughs and says, well, sometimes I don't want to, go out as whole, big, tall, scary goddess. So sometimes I just get to be me. And she kind of spreads her arms out in a sort of display of ta-da manner.
Weren't you already you? And Tally is very confused.
Well,
She
yes.
has no concept of gods and goddesses.
And Prismatone laughs and says, yes, I am always me. That is a point. But what I mean more is, well, you know, tiny little ballet dancer is often a bit more approachable than tall goddess who everyone sees holding a spear all the time. Which is ridiculous. I don't even use a spear anymore, but
I guess that makes sense. And Tally like thinks about it for a good minute. Doing a thinky thunk.
Sammy's just like, I already thought you were approachable. But you're so tiny now. You're so tiny now. His brain's gonna be stuck on the fact that Mom is tiny now and cute. Like she was already pretty, but now she's like cute, and he's dying in the inside because he sees Small Toon. He cuddles Small Toon. It's very hard for him to resist.
she chuckles and climbs up onto the bench and is now in cuddling range, Sammy.
Sammy just scoops her up and cuddles. Just plunk. He plunks his head on. He plunks his chin on her head and just holds her like a teddy bear.
Aww.
He is very content.
And she chuckles.
He is very
She chuckles
content.
and swoops down her skirt.
You're Bob-sized. Like Tally just pipes up from the side.
Oh, you know Bob?
You know Bob? Blink, blink, blink.
Wait, you know Bob?
Sammy nods.
Prismatone also nods.
Huh. I keep meeting people who know each other. Is that weird? Is that normal?
It's been happening to me too.
Well,
Huh.
people tend to flock to each other.
Tally just looks confused. She has never heard this phrase.
And Prismatone blinks and, puts a finger up to her mouth and thinks for a second. And then, puts her fingertips against each other and spreads her hands and basically explains, alright, so a lot of the time, people tend to run in groups based on other people that they know. And even if you don't realize you know the same people, because of sort of the rules that toons live by, you end up meeting a lot of people who know each other. For example, a lot of people from Dodo Studios know each other, and it might not even be that they meet each other at work. Do either of you know Tobias, Primrose, and Marcel?
I know Mix Tobias.
Uh, hmm. Tally nods, and if you guys want to roll insight, you can.
Oh boy, here
I
goes
mean,
Sammy.
you know my insight.
I know your insight.
Sammy got an 8.
I got a 51.
I mean, it's not very obvious to Sammy, but Tally nods in agreement to all three of the names that you mentioned, and for Marcel, it's a yeah, I know that name. For Tobias, it's a yeah, I know that name. For Prim, it's a yeah, I know that name. As a that person, do not trust. They are nicer now, but still do not trust.
And she kind of nods and she looks to Tally and is like, I know you've had a not so great experience with her, but Primrose really is trying her best to be better. You don't have to trust her right away, but give her another chance, alright?
And Tally does the little grumpy kid pout.
You don't have to be her best friend. Just, she's trying to be better. Sometimes people do bad things, and sometimes they don't regret them, and they're bad people, and they try and keep doing them, and that's not nice. But sometimes people know when they've done something wrong, and they try to be better. And You know what it's like to try and be better, right?
Tally nods. Tally definitely nods at that.
Don't you
I
think
guess that
that
makes sense.
don't you think that everyone deserves the chance to try and be better?
Hmm. I guess so. But like, there's some people who don't take that chance, and those people are mean.
Those people, hmm. Uh, and Prismatone clears her throat because she very much wanted to swear there, but now there is not just her child, but her child's little sister, who is a very young child.
Oh, you do not have to hold back swearing against Tally.
It's the mom
It
instinct.
is the mom instinct, but just letting you know. When Tally
Well,
gets angry, you know, because there's many swear words.
and Prismatone just kind of laughs and those people, we don't associate with those people. Those people, we kick their butts as quickly as possible.
Sammy nods.
Tally blinks her a bit before she nods as well.
Because sometimes people need a little bit of a kick in the butt.
Sammy kind of kicks out his foot for emphasis.
Tally, watching Sammy, immediately mimics it.
Sammy starts
And
to giggle.
Prismatone kind of just to get in on the gag also does the kick.
Sammy really starts to giggle now.
But where was I going with this? I had a point. Okay, so Miss Primrose and Tobias and Marcel, they all work at Dodo Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
they didn't meet each other at Dodo Studios. Well, Prim and Toby did. They met each other on the set of a movie. But do you want to know how those three all kind of became a group?
Hmm?
They they met each
Huh.
other in one of my old temples.
They did?
Really?
Sammy's eyes are sparkling.
Huh.
Mhm. You know the ECCR?
Oh,
Tally shakes her head.
Hmm. Well, the ECCR is this big building right near the middle of Toontown. And it's kind of like a doctor's office, but it's also kind of like a library for colors. Um,
Hmm.
I
and a lot
didn't
of
know
tunes
that
go there.
building. I didn't know that building was your temple.
Well, it used to be. It's not so much anymore, but back when it was first built, it was one of my bigger temples.
Sammy's frowning a little because they repurposed it for something else.
Oh.
And she gently bonks her forehead against Sammy's like, nope.
Mm.
And she's like, it's okay. I'm happy that they're using it to help people. I don't mind that they don't honor me. And they still kept my statue up. But they're using it to help people, and honestly, I like that a lot better than I like just having a place for my followers to go. Having a place where everyone can go to get help if they need it, that is something much more precious.
Is that what a temple is? For somebody to go to, do the whole. What do they do, actually? I'm not sure.
And Prismatone kind of laughs and says, well, like, I can't speak for all deities. Some have more organized worship in places like churches, but my temples have always just been places where my followers can come to talk to me if they need to, where they can come to let their feelings out and get help if they need it, where I can hear them and offer them advice.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sammy's
Are
just kind
there a
of
lot of deities?
Sammy just kind of plonks his chin against Prismatone's hair.
Oh, it's a good
Aw.
number. Prismatone is perfectly okay with being used as a teddy bear. Like, when she's in this teeny tiny form, she kind of gets this a lot. She's very huggable.
And Sammy loves giving
Uh,
hugs.
Good. Hug's good.
And she kind of lists off on her fingers. Well, just off the top of my head, let's see. There's me. There's the Wishing Star. We just call her Wish. There's Lady Luck. I just call her Lalu. There's Misfortune. Uh, Sometimes I call her Missy. She doesn't like that much, I don't think. Um, let's see. There's Wish's little brother Second. He's the
Real
second
quick,
star.
as Prismatone is like listing off all these all these deities, Tally has pulled like a little a little notebook out of her hammer space,
And
and she's like trying to write them all down, but they're all she's not very good at writing.
oh, bless her heart.
Like all the E's are backwards and like they're all the letters are shaky.
Bless her heart. Oh my god. And yet Prismatone just keeps listing off on her fingers. She's like, there's Lemus. He's a bit of an annoyance sometimes, but he knows how to have fun. There is Judge. Judge is very nice. You might like him. And let's see. There's well, there's her, but I don't count her. Ugh. And Prismatone's skirt turns red as she like closes her eyes and looks a bit annoyed, and then she shakes her head and then she brightens because she realizes, oh, there's Nani. They're my sibling. They're very sweet.
Nani.
And
Nani.
Symphony, also known as
Oh.
the background music or the soundtrack.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And like Tally Tally puts in parentheses next to Nani a very terribly spelled word symphony.
And oh, well, you know who you could talk to, Tally? You could try talking to my husband. Have you? Do you know Crunkle?
I mean, you do not have to roll insight considering your modifier, but the dot dot dots above Tally's head gives you a clear answer of no. No, she does not.
And she kind of smiles, and you guys can roll insight if you want.
It is insight time.
Sammy's
Oh,
in
that's a 4.
Sammy's in Hugtown. He sees nothing.
Um,
Tally got a
Tally,
15.
you can tell that this is somebody who loves someone very much and is excited to gush about them.
Aww.
I love Prismatone so much.
She loves her
Good.
husband, man. And she's
Good.
like, well, and she like raises her hand and casts an illusion, and you can see sort of the silhouette of Crunkle in sort of glowing pink because she is very pink right now. Her skirt is pink, she's blushing pink. There's little
Aww.
hearts around her head. She's very happy. And
Aww.
she says, "Well, my husband, I call him Seb, but a lot of the mortals tend to call him Crunkle, short for Crab Uncle. He's the god of love and of interpersonal relationships. And well, if you were looking for someone to talk to, I'm sure he'd be perfectly willing to help you."
And like Tally thinks long and hard about this as she looks at the little silhouette, little magical silhouette. And like you can see the little gears turning in her head as like she's weighing all her options because she's been given a literal list of like different options that she has. And like oh boy.
Like, Prismatone herself would also be willing to be a warlock patron for Tally, but she also knows that there are certain things that Tally's player wants.
Hey, don't break the fourth wall, please.
She's a deity. She does what she wants.
Look, miss, please.
And she kind of smiles and says, I mean, I could always offer you a bit of magic myself, but I think it might be a little too soon for you to make a choice,
Oh, yeah.
And like Tally is like looking over the list and like circling the ones that sound interesting to her. Because like she wants to make sure she weighs all her options for this because she doesn't want to end up making a bad choice. We all know what happened the last time she made a bad choice.
We hold
Oh,
her
baby.
soft.
Okay. Hmm.
But there are people out there who are willing to help you, little one.
Mm-hmm. I used to think that people didn't like helping, but I keep meeting people who like helping, and it's very nice.
Sammy nods. He understands that.
And Prismatone, she smiles and she looks kind of sad, and there's like an equal mix of gold and blue in her skirt right now. And sort of like the sound of the water splashing into the fountain gets a little louder and almost sounds like rain. And like the lighting in the area turns a little blue. And she sighs and says, "There are a lot of bad people in this world, but there's a lot of good ones too. People who care and want to help you, want to help everyone. You just gotta, you just gotta hope you find them."
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Tally thinks about this very seriously. She has a very serious little thinking face right now.
Prismatone is trying very hard not to awe.
And like Tally just makes a very sage nod as she uh takes her little notebook and puts it back in her hat and puts her hat on her head.
Hmm. Hmm. This is. Hmm. I have a lot to think about now.
Sammy reaches over and pats Tally on the shoulder. He gets that.
Prismatone, the goddess of giving people existential crises.
Yep, pretty much.
And she kind of blinks, and then she realizes something, and she's like, "Tally, did you still want to return those talents that you have?"
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And Tally nods like, and then she pauses like,
wait a second. How did you know that? Wait.
you can see the little processing above her head.
And Prismatone laughs and kind of smiles and taps her temple and is like, "We have ways of knowing things. But do you
Kelly is
mind if
now
I
looking sus, slightly, slightly sus.
do you mind if I take a look at one? I might be able to tell you who it belongs to."
Oh,
Kelly like blinks before she takes off her hat again and starts rummaging through her hammer space, and she pulls out a little glass bottle with a I'm just gonna say it's a bright red talent with little specks of pink on the inside.
And Prismatone holds out her hands because she's not going to take it from Tally. She's going to let Tally give it to her.
Kelly very, very carefully hands it off because she knows that this is a talent and talents are very important.
And Prismatone holds the little bottle gently, and it's like bigger than her hands now, which is not something she's used to. And she traces her fingers over the glass bottle in the shape of a heart. Um, and sort of a glowing outline appears above it of a mostly empty outline of a heart with the patterns and colors of the talent making up a teeny tiny piece of it.
ooh.
And
Kelly is watching.
Prismatone very carefully inspects it. She nods. And then I assume this is one of the ones that Tally and Donut have labeled.
Mm-hmm.
She gently turns over the label, reaches into her own hammer space. Wait, that's not. No.
What?
What is that?
Reaches into her own hammer space and pulls out a glowing rainbow colored pen, and in ink that changes color with the light, it's hollow ink, but black.
Ooh.
She writes down a name and an address on the back.
Oh. Tally is watching.
And she hands it back to Tally.
Tally very carefully takes it back and like looks at the address.
Oh, that's. Oh, that's. That's like on the other side of Toontown.
Oh! And Tally is looking very excited all of a sudden.
And Prismatone smiles.
Sammy's just like, Tally, do you want me to go with you when you deliver it?
Oh,
Like Tally thinks for a bit before she shrugs.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but. I mean.
Tally hesitates. She puts the talent back in her hammer space because, oh boy, it's pretty late, and she knows that like there's a lot of talents. There's a lot of talents, and like there's not enough time in the night to go start that expedition.
And Prismatone kind of chuckles and says, "Tell you what, you start with that one, and when you get it delivered and brought back to who it belongs to, come back to me and I will label a couple more with who they belong to for you. And you can put them back that way, and I'll make sure that you're not running yourself ragged."
Sammy nods. Because he's like,
Self-care.
he's
Self-care.
like eyeing Tally, just like, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Tally nods very seriously and does like a little kid salute.
Sammy nods.
And then
not even rolling insight, he just nods.
I think like about 2 steps later, Tally walks over and she hops up on the bench and gives both Sammy and Prismatone a hug.
Sammy's immediately hugging back.
Hug, hug,
Aw,
hug, hug.
baby. Prismatone hugs both of you.
Yes.
Like, she is very small right now, but she is still very good and very made of hugs.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Big group
Hugs
hug.
good.
Big group hug.
Big group hug.
And I think, because, Mira, you sound like you're starting to get sleepy,
No!
I think with that group hug, with Tally's little mission connection to Prismatone established, with everything taken care of, with a hint hint nudge nudge of who Tally should talk to given, I believe that is where we end our FPS.
Yay!
Yeah, that was so good.
That was so
Everyone
good!
say goodbye to our listeners. Goodbye, listeners!
Bye,
Goodbye, listeners! Thank you for listening! Yee!